on the Crimson Tide Sports Network, a property of Learfield Sports.
Touchdown, Alabama!
Live from Bob's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa, this is Hey Coach, presented by Alpha. For the best agents in the business, call Alpha. Hey Coach is brought to you by Golden Flake, the official chip of the Crimson Tide. Your Alabama Ford dealers. Alabama Saturdays, built Ford tough. Bud Light, the perfect beer when you're up for whatever. And by Coke Zero, real Coke taste, 0 calories. Here is your host, Tom Roberts.
Good evening, everybody, and roll tide. Glad to have a bunch of Bama fans in the house tonight at Bob's Victory Grill, as well as all of you who are listening on the network. 2-0, still number 2 in the country. That's Alabama football tonight as we get set for another home weekend coming up against Southern Mississippi on Saturday evening. Coach Nick Saban will be here in 30 minutes to talk about the Golden Eagles and last week's 41-0 shutout of Florida Atlantic. We'll also salute Amari Cooper for his Cooper Tire Performance of the Week. Alabama soccer now 3-2-1 after a weekend split. Tide will entertain UAB tomorrow night. Last tune-up for the start of SEC play next weekend. Todd Bramble's here to talk about his team. Alabama volleyball still on the road, headed to Montgomery for a tournament this weekend. We'll hook up with Coach Ed Allen on the Academy Sports and Outdoors hotline to talk about his team. We'll also talk about the schedule for the weekend, including a salute to the late Derek Thomas. That'll be at the ball game on Saturday. He, of course, is Alabama's latest inductee into the College Football Hall of Fame. We'll also honor Woodrow Lowe and Ricky Davis, the honorary captains from that 1974 SEC championship team. They're going to be signing autographs right next to our radio show out in front of the stadium, our new location at the corner of Wallace Way Drive and University Boulevard, northwest corner of the stadium. We've got a lot to do. We, of course, invite your questions. If you're here at Bob's Victory Grill, Jessica Weiger will be standing over here at the corner of the bar with a microphone for your questions. And we've got some gifts, including a $50 gift card from University Mall. If you're sitting at home, want to ask the coach a question, our number is 877-202-BAMA. All right, we're going to talk soccer with Todd Bramble coming up next. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield Sports.
Once in a while, a player comes along and completely changes the game.
Unbelievable catch!
It's no different when it comes to a truck. A truck that doesn't just change the game, but dominates it. The 2014 Toyota Tundra. Now get 0% APR for 36 months on the new 2014 Toyota Tundra. Toyota, let's go places. Offer valid September 3rd through September 30th, 2014. Zero down approved credit. Monthly payment $41,000. Finance is $27.78. Excludes tax tag, registration, title, and dealer fees. Cannot combine with other offers.
Game day brings out the best in all of us. Leadership, teamwork, tradition, spirit. These are the things we love about college athletics. They're also the values that drive the associates at Regions Bank to bring you the products, advice, and financial guidance you need to move life forward. Because at Regions, every day is game day. Regions, official bank of the SEC. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
Ready for this week's game? We're talking the rumbling roar of Big Al and another epic Roll Tide. But we're also talking great pizza. As a proud sponsor of the Alabama Crimson Tide, Red Baron Pizza is kicking off your game day at tailgateatyourplace.com. Score big with awesome party ideas, winning recipes, and impressive school trivia. Plus, a chance to win over $150,000 in prizes. Red Baron, better crust, better pizza. Roll Tide.
Hey, Alabama fans, Academy Sports and Outdoors is the place to go when you need the gear to support your team. Academy is your one-stop shop for Crimson Tide jerseys, t-shirts, caps, novelty items, and more at everyday low prices. Be sure to visit your local Academy store or academy.com to stock up on Crimson Tide gear for the season. Academy Sports and Outdoors, official sponsor of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
The right stuff, the low price, every day. Academy.
Bud Light and NFL fans, this is the legend of Gail Hammerschmidt, who once tailgated 34 straight games, even braving the snowpocalypse of '04, and who could run a 4.440 to the mini fridge for an ice-cold Bud Light. But there are many legends like Gail, and Bud Light's rewarding them with experiences like an ultimate NFL weekend. Bud Light, the perfect beer for whatever happens.
Ultimate NFL experience open to U.S. residents 21 plus. No purchase necessary. Ends 12/31/14. See upforwhatever.com for details. Void where prohibited. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer. AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
Welcome back to Hey Coach. We're live at Bob's Victory Grill here in Tuscaloosa. Joining us on stage, head coach of the Alabama soccer team, Todd Bramble. How you doing, Coach?
Fantastic. Happy to be here tonight.
Well, I would think you were happy with last weekend. You got a split. Ordinarily at home, that might not be all that good, but on Friday night you were playing the number 3 team in America in Virginia. They beat you, but you played very well, didn't you?
Yeah, we came out of the weekend certainly with mixed emotions. That's a game. We're always going to schedule games like that in the non-conference portion of our season where we're playing top 5, top 10 type teams to make sure that we're well prepared for our conference play. And Virginia, they were everything we expected them to be, and we're certainly disappointed in the result. 3-0 doesn't look great, but there was a couple of really sloppy, undisciplined goals that were conceded in the game that are fixable. But we showed a lot of good things in that game against Virginia that are going to help us going forward. And you had more shots on goal than that than they'd given up in their previous games all season long. Then on Sunday night, well, first of all, let's go back to Friday night. Second largest crowd in the history of the program, 1,308 fans. That must have been exciting for your team. It was an incredible atmosphere at the soccer facility. Our players really enjoyed the atmosphere that the students and the people in the community brought to the stadium that night, and it was a special experience. And we're just hoping that they didn't leave disappointed because we play Florida. After we get through this weekend, we have Florida the next weekend, and we'd love to see a crowd the same size and with the same amount of energy for that game. Well, on Sunday night, you entertained Jacksonville State. 30 shots on goal. That sounds incredible until you only got, what, 2? Yeah, we weren't as sharp as we needed to be for that final product to stick the ball in the net. But I was really happy with the performance of our team that night because that was a little bit of a trap game. Darn right. Coming off of a really emotional night on a Friday night. Playing against Virginia, so to come out and for the players to be focused enough to build all those attacks and build those chances and absolutely give them 0 scoring chances in the game was really important. So it was a pretty mature performance from our group overall. Wish we would have scored more goals. Well, and offensively, it sounded like, first of all, Teresa Diedrich. You knew she was going to be a leader, but she really is playing well offensively, isn't she? Yeah, she's as much as we were expecting from her this year, which was going to be a lot. She's even exceeding our expectations. Wonderful. She's really having an all-SEC type of season. The game really is slowing down for her right now, so she's super composed on the ball. She can really see and feel everything that's going on around her. So not only is she getting goals or assists every game, she's contributing a lot for us on both sides of the ball. She's the senior, a freshman, Lacey Clarida, continues to have a really good start. Yeah, she's got big shoes to fill in that position right now, especially with Pia being out with a slight injury. But Lacey's stepping up, and she's been good from the beginning of the season all the way through now. So we're just hoping that she can maintain that consistency. Has been a rough start for Pia Reisdyke. Is she going to be available this weekend, or are you going to kind of wait until next weekend? Yeah, I don't think she's quite ready yet. And with the most important part of our season being conference play coming up, a week or 2 away, we're not going to take any chances of having her get set back at all. To me, you're wise this weekend. Only one match, that of Friday night, 7 o'clock. No match on Sunday. You got to be ready for the Gators who come next week. Yeah, well, 2 things it does for us is it allows this weekend for us to put everything into the game on Friday night. Yeah. UAB is going to come in here and be really motivated and give us everything that we can handle. So with not having anything else to think about on Sunday, we are going to put everything we possibly have into this Friday night game. And then after that, we're a month into our season now, so our players, they've been working really hard. Many of the weeks before school started, they didn't get any days off, and now it's just 1 day a week. So for us to be able to give them an extra day's rest now is really, really valuable before conference play starts. I asked you who you made angry at the conference office that you have to start with the Gators, but at least you have Florida at home, don't you? Yeah, then, we've started to play them really well as of late. The last time they played on this field, we beat them, which was the first time in program history that Alabama had beaten Florida. So, there's some players on our team that have good memories of that night, and it's certainly a night that we're going to be ready for again. Well, all right, let's not worry about that one. Tomorrow night, UAB, 7 o'clock. Any kind of special promotions? haven't seen that from event management yet.
We
but,
know there will be something.
Yeah, they absolutely do a great job of taking care of the fans that come out to support us.
All right, 7 o'clock tomorrow night, Bama against UAB. Thanks for stopping by, Todd.
Thanks for having me. Roll Tide.
Todd Bramble, head coach of the Alabama soccer team. We're going to talk. We'll keep you updated on them. And by the way, SEC Network has just about all their games on the digital platform as well. And by the way, you can download the official Alabama Game Day app and get every digital football game day program free. It's easy. Just search for Alabama Game Day from your app store. An update for each game. Download now the official Alabama Game Day app presented by Adobe DPS, your best way to mobilize the Tide. We'll talk Bama volleyball next. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield Sports.
On the next episode of Recipes for Disaster.
I'm making beef sliders for my friend Sandy. Nana taught me to always pull meat off the grill early so it's extra juicy.
Use a food thermometer to ensure ground beef is 160 degrees, or you could make people really sick. Sandy didn't think twice about the slider she ate until yoga class, when a nasty case of food poisoning turned her downward-facing dog into upward-moving lunch. Watch Recipes for Disaster at foodsafety.gov and learn the steps Maria unwittingly leaves out. Brought to you by the USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper cars, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Man, do I love card night. You ready, boys? You got a king?
Go fish, Dad!
Oh, come on! This is WWE superstar Titus O'Neil. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I'm in almost every school busing classroom. You see me around the neighborhood, and you tell me that I'm a pretty good kid. Well, I'm one out of every 5 children in America, and I'm struggling with hunger.
Please visit feedingamerica.org today and find your local food bank for ways to help.
Every dollar you donate helps provide 8 meals for kids like me. We are Feeding America, brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
You're back on Hey Coach, presented by Alpha Insurance. For the best agents in the business, call Alpha. We're live at Bob's Victory Grill here at Midtown Village in Tuscaloosa. And right now on the Academy Sports and Outdoors hotline, we're trying to hook up with Ed Allen, coach of the Alabama volleyball team. They've been on the road this entire season and continue to be tonight. They're on their way to Montgomery to play in the ISTAP Collegiate Cup 2 tournament down at Alabama State University. Tide will take on Southern Mississippi tomorrow afternoon at 1. Then on Saturday morning at 8:30, we'll play Alabama State, Towson at 1:30. So Ed taking his team down there. The Tide had gotten off to a 5-0 start, but saw that undefeated string snapped in the Cavalier Classic up at the University of Virginia last weekend. Bama lost to a tough LIU Brooklyn squad and to the homestanding Cavaliers. But again, they got a great, great weekend from Crystal Rivers. She was named to the all-tournament team because she set new highs for her career in kills, 29 of them in the 5-set loss to LIU Brooklyn. That's the most scored since Kayla Federer knocked them in on August 30th, 2011 against Samford. So Crystal Rivers continuing to set a torrid pace for the Alabama volleyball team. And you can keep up with the Crimson Tide volleyball team as well online at rolltide.com this weekend. And hopefully it'll be a good one for the Crimson Tide down in Montgomery. Quick update on golf. First of all, Gavin Moynihan, who's a member of the Alabama men's golf team, is in Japan playing in the World Amateur Team Championship for his home country of Ireland. After 36 holes of the event, he's at 4 under par 139, one of only a handful of golfers in the event not to record a bogey or worse on the par 72 course in Japan. So a great, great play already for him. Now, Emma Talley, who plays for the women's golf team here at the university, is just back from Japan. She was playing for the United States, which finished in a tie for 5th at the World Amateur Team Championship for women's teams. She was at 3 over 291 over the 4-day tournament, finished in a tie for 49th in the field. This weekend, men's golf on the road at the Olympia Fields Collegiate Classic, the Illini Invitational up in Chicago, and the women's team set to open the season next weekend in the Mason Rudolph Classic hosted by Vanderbilt University that played in Franklin, Tennessee. All right, so keep up with the Crimson Tide volleyball team this weekend on RollTide.com. Coming up next, we're going to take a look at our Cooper Performance of the Week and also the captains for this weekend. That's next. First, though, a reminder from our friends at Best Western all over the state of Alabama. They've got great deals for you all season long. Whether you're traveling for work or play, get up to 20% off rates and a chance to win a $100 travel card this fall. Visit bestwesternalabama.com/rolltide. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield Sports.
Toyota Materials Handling of Alabama is the authorized dealer for Toyota forklifts, the world's #1 forklift manufacturer right here in the USA. Toyota Materials Handling has short and long-term rentals available ranging from 3 to 36,000 pounds, and they provide parts and service for any model forklift. Ask Toyota Materials Handling about their no hidden fees guarantee and service loaner program. Call Toyota Materials Handling of Alabama today and speak with their consultants. Call toll-free 866-957-2250 or go online to toyotamaterials.com.
On game day, whether it's on the field or at the tailgate, the best rise to the top. Because when the Crimson Tide are driving to victory, there's no compromise. That's why Ford delivers available EcoBoost engine technology that offers a winning combination of power and efficiency. Just another reason why Ford is America's best-selling brand. Check out F-150, Fusion, Escape, and the all-new Expedition at your local Ford dealer. America's best-selling brand based on 2013 calendar year sales.
Nothing means it's game day like ice cold Coke Zero, because zero means it's game day.
What about when...
No.
But you don't even know what I was going to say.
Were you going to say zero means it's game day, so therefore nothing means it's game day like Coke Zero?
No, but...
Then it doesn't matter, does it? The refreshing taste of Coke Zero. Zero means it's game day.
Hey, this is Coach Nick Saban. Like you, Coke Zero is a proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide. So when you're enjoying the game this season, feel free to crack open a Coke Zero and enjoy that too. Roll Tide.
You're listening to Guy Talk live from the Sport Clips Haircuts locker room. Caller, you're on the air.
Hey, boxers or briefs?
Speaking briefly, boxers. Unless you're a boxer, then I go briefs. Next caller.
I want to find my nearest Sport Clips, but I don't want to ask for directions.
Use sportclips.com. It's actually Guy approved. At Sport Clips, you'll get an awesome MVP haircut experience while watching sports on TV. Your head'll glow like a freshly mowed Major League outfield. This has been Guy Talk, brought to you by Sport Clips, where it's good to be a guy.
Do game day right. With LG, it's all possible. LG home appliances are right in step with your busy world. The largest capacity washer in its class saves you up to 20 minutes per load, even on larger loads. LG's door-and-door refrigerators offer instant access to gotta-have snacks. And with LG Easy Clean, you've got a sparkling oven in minutes. Come check out the latest in LG innovations at your local Best Buy or online at bestbuy.com/LG.
Welcome back to Bob's Victory Grill at Midtown Village in Tuscaloosa, and to Hey Coach, presented by Alpha Insurance. For the best agents in the business, call Alpha. Right now, let's talk about our Cooper Tire Performance of the Week, presented by Cooper Tires. Life's a road trip. Come on, let's go. Visit CooperTire.com to find your local Cooper Tires dealer. And I think it's very appropriate that we honor Amari Cooper, who now leads the country in receptions. Yes, you can clap for Amari. An incredible game last week against Florida Atlantic. Caught 13 passes for 189 yards, scored on a 52-yard catch and run, and has now gone over the century mark in receiving in 4 straight games. The 13 receptions tied the all-time record here at the University of Alabama. And now Amari leads the country in receptions and receiving yards. An outstanding start on the season. 25 catches already for him in just 2 games. The coaching staff honored him as one of their players of the week. Also on offense, you had Jalston Fowler, credited for his outstanding blocking from the fullback spot. And he also caught a 3-yard touchdown pass from Jacob Coker. And then Christian Jones was picked out by the coaches. He caught 2 passes for 52 yards. And Amari was quick to point out that he had a great block on Coop's 52-yard touchdown run. The defense, the coach's choice for players of the week, Eddie Jackson and Jonathan Allen. The defense held FAU to just 145 total yards and only 9 first downs. It was a great return for Jackson after his injury, his ACL tear at cornerback, made an immediate impact with 4 tackles, 1 for a loss, and he forced a fumble. And then Jonathan Allen just had another great game, added 2 tackles. He also had 1 behind the line of scrimmage. But on special teams, an incredible start for Adam Griffith, connected on both of his field goal attempts. He's now 6 for 6 on the season, and he had 2 touchbacks on his 8 kickoffs in the game. Cyrus Jones had a big day on special teams with that 70-yard punt return, but he also had 3 tackles and a forced fumble playing cornerback. And then Kenyon Drake, another stop inside the 20 on kickoff coverage, and he was the leading rusher in the ball game with 45 yards on 7 carries, and he also scored on a 39-yard pass play from Blake Sims. So congratulations to those for our Cooper Tire Performance of the Week. And also something big is going to be happening Saturday before the game. The National Football Foundation College Football Hall of Fame will be in town to honor Derek Thomas, who's going to be posthumously inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame, the 18th inductee for the University of Alabama. And his mom, Edith Morgan, is going to be on the field to represent Derek. Hope you'll get there early and help to honor him. Time for our Red Baron Crimson Tide tailgate tradition. Talk about the honorary captains for Saturday's game. Representing the class of 74 that won the SEC championship, 2 of its all-star defensive players, safety Ricky Davis and linebacker Woodrow Lowe. 2 outstanding ones. Ricky was a member of the all-decade team for the 70s, earned all SEC honors while helping the Tide win 1 national championship and 3 SEC titles. And then, of course, Woodrow Lowe, elected to the College Football Hall of Fame in 2009, a 3-time All-American from Phoenix City, Alabama. And Woodrow Lowe still lives over in Phoenix City. So I hope you'll join us. Prior to the game, those 2 gentlemen will be out on the in front of the stadium at our location next to the radio show, signing autographs. And we're right at the corner of Wallace Way Drive and University Boulevard. This Crimson Tide tailgate tradition brought to you by Red Baron Pizza. Visit tailgateatyourplace.com for great game day ideas and enter for a chance to win $150,000 in prizes. Red Baron, better crust, better pizza. Coming up next, we're going to talk with our media guest for the week. That's coming up on Hey Coach. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield Sports.
Before you get in, get going, get gone, you need to get a tire that gets you. We suggest a Cooper tire. After all, Cooper engineers its tires not just for performance, but real-life performance. Because life's a road trip. Come on, let's go. Buy 4 qualifying Cooper tires and get up to a $70 prepaid card by mail. Visit a participating Cooper Tire retailer or CooperTireRebates.com for reward forms and official terms and conditions.
Tide fans, make University Mall part of your football weekend game plan. Avoid the campus traffic. Take the Tuscaloosa Charter Tide Ride from University Mall to Bryant-Denny and back for just $10. While you're here, enjoy great shopping, dining, the area's best selection of Bama fan gear, and special Crimson weekend savings. We're West Alabama's in-place to shop for over 30 years. That's University Mall. Roll Tide.
Once in a while, a player comes along and completely changes the game.
Unbelievable catch!
It's no different when it comes to a truck. A truck that doesn't just change the game, but dominates it. The 2014 Toyota Tundra. Now get 0% APR for 36 months on the new 2014 Toyota Tundra. Toyota, let's go places. Offer valid September 3rd through September 30th, 2014. Terradon approved credit, monthly payment $41,000, finances $27.78. Excludes tax tag, registration, title, and dealer fees. Cannot combine with other offers.
Hey, Tide fans, when you're getting ready for this week's game, stock up on Golden Flake. Pick up your favorite bag of Golden Flake potato chips, Tostados, or cheese puffs, and you'll be ready to tailgate like a true Tide fan. Golden Flake, the favorite chip of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
The best choice you can make is a big bag of Golden Flake.
Welcome back to Hey Coach, presented by Alpha Insurance. For the best agents in the business, call Alpha. We're live at Bob's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa. Our media guests for the first couple of weeks of the season were guys, Cecil Hurt and Chris Lowe, and I'm thankful that we have a lovely young woman sitting next to us, Shannon Spake from ESPN.
Well,
How
thank
you doing?
That's a great introduction. Thank you very much.
Well, a lovely young woman who does a great job and got your fingers, I guess your fingernails dusty and dirty, covering NASCAR for a long time, didn't you?
Yeah, I tried to stay away from the oil and the grease, and I never
don't blame
changed
you.
a tire. Although I tried to put the jack down one time, and those guys, it's tough. It's
Yeah.
not as easy as they make it look. But yes, covered NASCAR for 8 years for ESPN, and just recently made the move over to college football and college basketball full time.
I would think that college football and basketball, I know NASCAR is great and there are great guys in that sport. College football and basketball got to be a whole lot more fun. Is it?
You know, the energy, I think, with racing, because the fans are so, there's obviously a lot of fans.
Yeah.
I mean, 100,000 people at races, and the pageantry going in to each event with the flyovers and the national anthem,
Yeah.
it's something to be seen. If you've never been to a race, I highly recommend it. But as far as the fans, in college sports, you can really feel the emotion, and you can see their faces, and you can see them celebrating, and that's the best part. I mean, as anyone who's in television or radio, you want to tell those stories and see that emotion. And in racing, obviously you have cars between you and the fans,
and you don't really want to get out on the track.
No.
For sure. But you're on the sidelines, and I was the sideline reporter for this network for several years. It's not the best seat in the house, as some people think it is, but you're definitely right there in the middle of everything.
Yeah, the thing about, when you're down there on the sidelines, or even when you're in the garage, for me, is you're so busy doing your job.
True.
That sometimes I feel like you don't kind of take a breath and look around and realize where you are and what you're doing. So I really try to do that several times in a game or in a race. Just take a second, take a breath, look around, and enjoy the moment, because some of these places that we go to are incredible. One story, so I was at Ohio Stadium last year, and it started snowing. And I'm from the South, okay? I was raised in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, so cold is 70 degrees to me.
Yes.
Snow is not something that
No.
I'm very good with. And so it started snowing, and at first I'm like, oh, man, get me out of this. But then I stop and I look around and I realize where I am, and all of the fans that are around, and I had this moment, and it was pretty special. So I try to do that once a game.
I would think when the snow was coming down, you'd have loved to have your 4.5-year-old twin boys with you.
Well, they would have definitely, I would have to make a Frozen reference here. They would love to go build a snowman.
Of course.
Yes, because that's their favorite movie right now, and yeah, it's great.
That's got to be tough, too, balancing this life on the road with trying to raise a couple of boys.
Yeah, I have a great support system with my husband and my family in the area and in the Charlotte area. And, I'm waiting for those cool mommy moments. Like, I'm just going to build up all the points. They're 4.5, and they were already able to attend a shoot-around at Rupp Arena.
Wonderful.
And this year I'm going to try to bring them out to a couple of football games. So I'm gonna build up the cool mommy points from when they're in high school,
We'll definitely do that. All right, relax for just a couple of minutes. Coach Saban will be joining us about 2 minutes from now. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Our first phone caller every week brought to you by Alabama 811, reminding you to call 811 before you dig, know what's below, and have those underground utilities marked. It's one free call to 811. by the way, the state-of-the-art digital table we're sitting behind tonight is provided by Booster Digital Displays. Digital products that enhance and raise money for high schools and colleges across the country. Visit our website at www.boosterdisplays.com. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield Sports.
To a single ember from a wildfire, the branches hanging over your roof look like big matchsticks, and the dry leaves and twigs in your gutter are perfect kindling. Some fire hazards aren't clearly marked and can impact your neighbors. Learn to spot them. Your home is better protected from wildfire when your whole community is prepared. Visit fireadapted.org for tips to get started. A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Man, last night we put on an epic light show.
So epic.
The crowd loved us.
Wait, there were only 4 people out there.
Yeah, but did you see their 4 faces? Their eyes lit up brighter than ours, and we're fireflies.
Yeah, we are.
And we're gonna be out here rocking out our light show at a forest near you, so come check us out.
Check us out.
Whether you're rocking their world or they're rocking yours, some memories never fade. Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Whoa. The moment my son saw a redwood tree
It's huge!
is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing.
even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
It's 6:42 p.m. Time for Steve Plato and his son Dylan to do the dishes. They talk about everything from the yuckiness of girls to the awesomeness of his soccer team. Sometimes they don't talk at all. Then, hey, the dreaded splash fight. It's Dad o'clock, and it's the best time of the day. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Live from Bob's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa, this is the Nick Saban Show, presented by Alpha. For the best agents in the business, call Alpha. Also brought to you by Golden Flake, the official chip of the Crimson Tide. Your Alabama Ford dealers. Alabama Saturdays, built Ford tough. Bud Light, the perfect beer when you're up for whatever. And by Coke Zero, real Coke taste, 0 calories. Now, with Coach Nick Saban, here's Tom Roberts.
Thank you very much, and welcome back to Bob's Victory Grill here in Tuscaloosa. Coach Saban just arriving at the restaurant. Our media guest on stage with us is Shannon Spake from ESPN. And you said this will be your first trip to cover a game in Tuscaloosa?
It is. Well, I've done some basketball games.
Yeah.
I think I've done 2 or 3 basketball games when I do the Super Tuesday package, but it will be my first football game here. We were just talking, I did an Inside the Program last season before the Texas A&M game, so I feel like I've been here before and covered a game, but it will be my first time on the sidelines here.
To me, it's one of the great venues in all of college football. I'm biased, but I think it's the prettiest and the best. And the applause says that the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Nick Saban, arriving here. Always good to have the coach with us during the course of an hour. And as he sits down, we'll welcome him to the stage. And Coach, you always fuss at me because I typically ask, how's the week of practice been? So I guess I'll ask, were you happy, for the most part, with the way the game was played out last Saturday?
Well, I thought you were going to ask me about practice. Why would you?
Okay, how was practice this week?
He's listening.
Well, this is the first time since I've been coaching that we ever had a game shortened by weather. And it was a little disappointing that it happened that way because we're having such an opportunity to play some other players who, we really wanted to play, who really deserved to play. And we really felt bad that they weren't able to play more in the game. But I thought we executed a lot better in the game, didn't have nearly as many mental errors as what we had in the West Virginia game. A lot of players responded and improved, which was really the focus on what we wanted to do between game 1 and game 2. We got a long way to go, all right, but we're making progress. And You know, the theme of the week this week was, you know, sort of focus stamina. You know, can you create the habits to improve? So that was really, we had a really hard week of practice. It was tough, it was hot, but I think we did improve, and I think the players did a pretty good job of, you know, working on trying to develop, you know, the kind of habits we need to continue to make progress as a team.
Our media guest tonight, you just shook her hand, Shannon Spake from ESPN, who does an outstanding job on the sidelines for them. And Shannon, you get the first big question for the coach for tonight.
Well, I will follow up on the game this weekend, and I will ask you about the game. When there is a situation where the score is so heavily on one side, whether you're winning or down, what is the process of trying to keep your guys mentally engaged? And where are you looking to see that?
Right. Well, you know, we really try to get our players, you know, a lot of people think football is about inspiration and emotion, you know, like who you're playing, all the external factors, what the expectations are. But really what you're trying to do is get consistency in performance. And I guess what I say to the players sometimes, you know, the tree is the process of all the things you need to do to be successful. The shadow is what everybody else thinks you need to do to be successful and what they think of you, and they're all the external factors of, so you're going to focus on the tree or the shadow, you know, I mean, so nobody ever performs better when they have high anxiety. So our whole approach with the players is external factors like the scoreboard, the weather, who you're playing against. You know, none of those things really should ever determine the quality and standard that you play to. So that's our approach to start with. So we're trying to dominate the game, one play at a time, every play in a game for 60 minutes in a game. So that's the whole approach with the players. So when we get ahead 21-0 in a game, that doesn't mean we should play differently. We still keep trying to play to our standard, and whoever the next guy that gets to go in the game needs to feel the same way. So there really isn't a scoreboard, and you know, that's sort of how we try to get our players to, that's how you create an identity as a player. That's how you create an identity as a team. How you compete all the time regardless of the circumstances, whether it's weather, you know, any of those things. You know, Ray Lewis made a really interesting statement that I kind of forgot about, but we do a little highlight film on Friday night before that we show the highlights of the week before game to the players on Friday night before a Saturday game. And you know, one of the statements that was in this little highlight film that brought a memory to me, and I said, I'll never forget this again. What would you do today differently if tomorrow wasn't promised? So that's sort of, you know, if you're really trying to be all you can be, why should somebody else determine that standard for you? So that's really how we try to, the psychology of how we go about what we do. So it really shouldn't matter, I guess, to answer your question.
What's that like when you're dealing with some young men who haven't been in that situation before, guys who are out there on the field for the first time and experiencing a game like that? What's that like, the process of trying to get them to buy into that?
Well, I think it's the same thing. You have twins, right?
Yes, I do.
How old?
4.5.
Okay.
My twins don't listen to me, though. I think your
right,
players
so,
probably listen to you a lot more.
So they're maturing, correct?
Yes.
They're in the process of maturing. Well, that's exactly what happens with our players. They're all in the process of some level of maturity, you know, as people, as competitors, as ability to focus, you know, have 100% focus on what they're supposed to do. How do they get frustrated when things don't go the way they're supposed to? And the best I can answer that question is it's about maturity. When you're really result-oriented in everything that you do, which what a lot of young people are that way, a lot of our freshmen are that way, you get affected by everything else because you know, you're not really shooting at the target and focusing on the process of what you got to do to make the best shot. You're thinking about whether you're going to win or lose or how much you're going to play or how did I do on the last play or am I doing better than this guy over here and should I play more than him? You can't be a very good player. You know, I actually told the players a story last week, and I thought this was a pretty good, and this is certainly not a negative, but I told the players before we played the last game, I said, you know, it takes 100% focus on what you're doing to really be good. And I used the example of Roy McIlroy, who has had a fantastic year this year of winning, 2 majors or whatever. But like in 2011, he won a major. I might have my years wrong. And he was one of the top 5 golfers in the world. And then he had a relationship with the tennis player, Wozniacki.
You're looking at
Carol.
both of us who don't know much about
just-
tennis, but
well,
was
she
a
just,
great one.
She just lost to Serena in the finals of the U.S. Open. Okay, so the point was she was the #1 tennis player in the world. He was in the top 5 golfers. And for 3 years, they both descended dramatically while they were having this sort of on and off relationship that really wasn't great for either one of them, I guess. And it affected their ability to focus on what they were doing. Now, 8 months ago, they ended a relationship, and now they're both on top again.
Yeah.
She just lost the U.S. Open final, and he's won 2 majors and 3 or 4 other tournaments this year, and then had a chance to win a lot of other tournaments. So I think it was an example that I was trying to use about how it takes 100% focus to really do something well. You can't be semi-committed to it. So young people, like what you asked me about, don't really often understand that, especially when they've had a lot of success and not really followed a process to have success just because they were better than somebody else. They could run faster, they could jump higher, or whatever. So it is a challenge and it is a work in progress, but we do develop it. And if you look at the history of the program relative to personal development, academics, how well we've done academically with our players, and the results that we've got on the field collectively as a team and individually for our players, the process that we use to try to get them to do it is working.
All right, Shannon, feel free to jump in at any time, but right now we got to do our Alabama 811 first caller. The coach knows who it is. It's Pee-wee from Grand Bay. Roll Tide, Pee-wee.
Roll Tide.
Pee-wee, what's going on, man?
Just another day of work, Coach. It never ends. I kind of got a two-part question tonight. First, I saw Dominic Jackson got some playing time in last week, and he seemed to have a good week of practice. I was just wondering how his recovery from the ankle injury is progressing, how close maybe he was to 100%, and do you expect to try to get him a little bit more playing time this week? And secondly...
Dominic Jackson? You're talking about Dominic Jackson?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, he's getting better, but I think, the time that he missed really affected his development. I think he missed 11 days of practice when we were in camp, which was probably about 14 practices or 15 practices. And he needs development because he needs repetition to develop the habits and the technique. He's a very talented guy. He's one of the most powerful guys and best athletes that we have. He has great size, be a phenomenal right tackle, but he just needs time to develop. And, he played out of control at times, when he played in the game last week. But he also did some really good things when he played under control and really was sure about what he was supposed to do. All right, so his consistency needs to improve with his knowledge and experience. And I don't know if we'll be able to play him in this game anymore or not. We'd like to play him in the game. We'd like to get him more experience. We'd like to get a lot of players a lot more experience before we get into league play. But, we have to put ourselves in a position to be able to do that.
The Hall family has the best seat in the house tonight. They've come all the way from Madison, Alabama. Ray, Kendra, and Kenny has got the first question out there. Kenny, go for it.
Hey, Coach. My name is Kenny Hall, and I have a question for you.
Good, Kenny. How you doing today, man?
Good.
All right.
Did you like playing football better than coaching football?
When I was a young man like you, I loved playing. But I love playing everything. I love playing baseball. I love playing basketball. I love playing football. I loved it. But then there comes a time in a lot of our lives, which may be hard for you to understand, because when you're your age and when I was young, I thought I could play forever. I would never not be able to play. I liked it that much. But there came a time when I couldn't play anymore. And I really didn't want to be a coach. But I got asked to be a coach by Don James, my coach at Kent State, to be a GA for a year. And I didn't really want to do it. But Miss Terry had another year of college, so I did it. So I have actually enjoyed coaching now for 42 years. Not one of those days in 42 years have I ever felt like I was going to work. If I could play, I'd always like to play more than I like coaching. But the coaching part of it is really has a lot of positive self-gratification because you teach other people, you see them develop, you see them improve, I think they respect the fact that you help them do better personally, academically, and athletically by the things that you try to, the leadership that you try to provide so that you guide them in the right direction. And, you know, I feel pretty good about how well some of our players have done here. I always go to graduation, see every guy graduate. So I enjoy what I do now. Can't play anymore. I still try to play basketball in the off season. Everybody laughs about it. But I get to pick the teams. I pick who guards me, and I call the fouls. So my team does pretty well.
All right, Kenny wants to shake your hand, I think. Why don't we take the first break here and let you visit with him. We're live at Bob's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa. Live sports radios are available at the stadium on Saturday. You can buy a brand new one or get last year's reprogram. Live sports radio, the way you can listen to every game live here at home and on the road. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield Sports.
Do game day right. With LG, it's all possible. LG home appliances are right in step with your busy world. The largest capacity washer in its class saves you up to 20 minutes per load, even on larger loads. LG's door-and-door refrigerators offer instant access to gotta-have snacks. And with LG Easy Clean, you've got a sparkling oven in minutes. Come check out the latest in LG innovations at your local Best Buy or online at bestbuy.com/LG.
As your Alpha Insurance agent, I can help you customize a plan that'll save you money while still protecting your family.
Saving $10, $15, $20 a month makes a big difference for families.
We're able to give you a better product for a better price with better service.
I try to give the customers the kind of service that I want myself.
And that has value. You can't get that online.
We have a great product, a great claim service, and it's a real value buy.
For the best agents in the business, call Alpha.
4 years ago, the national economy was draining hope from Alabama. Over 9% unemployment with no business growth.
There is never freedom for the breadwinner who is dependent on the government.
Governor Bentley focused on creating jobs.
We will put Alabama back to work.
Airbus has announced the opening of a new assembly plant.
Remington is announcing plans to open a large new plant in Alabama.
This is becoming standard fare, another major company announcing a move to Alabama.
Since Governor Bentley first took office, 40,000 jobs have been created. 60,000 more jobs are on their way. Unemployment is down over 20%, and the business confidence and hiring index is the highest since 2006. But the real credit goes to the hard-working men and women of Alabama.
When Alabama is at full employment, it will mean that along with a job, we have restored hope and purpose to thousands of fellow citizens.
Governor Bentley, working for Alabama. Paid for by Bentley for Governor, P.O. Box 5047, Montgomery, Alabama 36103.
In the empty backfield, here's Sims, looks right, nothing there. He's going to run, big hole up the middle. He dives past the man who tries to strip the ball away. Touchdown, Alabama, a 7-yard quarterback keeper.
Welcome back to Hey Coach, the Nick Saban Show, presented by Alpha Insurance. And, of course, the voice of Eli Gold and Shannon Spake, our guest for the media for this evening. You know Mr. Gold, don't you?
Do.
And do you have to call him Mr. Gold like we do?
No, but I would, because I have a lot of respect for him. So if he asked me to call him Mr. Gold, I certainly would. He's great.
He will sooner or later be the media guest this year. He does an outstanding job. Coach Saban back on stage. You get to open this quarter hour with him with a question.
Yes, I want to ask about the quarterbacks that you have playing right now. I know they're both playing together. They're both encouraging each other, as I saw many times during last week's game. But for Jake Coker, how is his understanding of this offense progressing? What have you seen out of him?
Well, I think Jake is certainly making progress and really improving. I think, you know, sometimes people sort of underestimate, you know, how important it is for a quarterback to really understand the terminology, understand the offense, feel comfortable in exactly what's expected of him, and also understanding exactly how other people that you play with are going to run a route or whatever. And, you know, systematically being able to change plays, being comfortable with the terminology. You know, he's made a tremendous amount of progress, but I still think, you know, there's times when he's a little uncertain exactly about what he's supposed to do. And then I also think that when you're in that circumstance, you really sort of focus so much on what you're supposed to do that sometimes you lose sight of big picture things that a quarterback and a leader, really need to do for their team or for their unit. Like, just in a game last week, losing sight of the shot clock, or, 7 seconds to go and we want to run a quick play and get rid of the ball, kick a field goal if it doesn't work, and get sacked. And just those types of things. You're so focused on what you're supposed to do that you're not seeing, the big picture. And I think that's only going to come with experience for him, more confidence, and more comfort in, what the expectation is for him and his teammates as they play together, grow together, and learn together. And I think people, really kind of underestimate, that process that he needs to go through to be able to be the kind of player he's capable of.
We got a bunch of Bama fans here at Bob's Victory Grill. Gentleman right here at the end of the bar got an Alpha Insurance shirt on. Tell us who you are, where you're from.
Well, my name is Ben Franklin. I'm from Birmingham, and I'm with Alpha Insurance. Had a coach or a question for you, Coach. So, with the weather shortened game last week, did this affect your substitution plans? And how does the lost game time affect us from an experience standpoint going forward in the season?
Well, I mentioned it before that we were disappointed that we weren't able to finish the game because it would have given an opportunity for us to get some players who have not had much of a chance to play, some valuable playing time and experience. I think it would have been, really a significant thing for their development, if they'd have got to play a little bit more. And we would have been able to play some other players. But, these players have to be able to learn that they've got to practice their way to the field. It's their responsibility to make sure that they can execute, like they need to go into the game and have success. So we wanted to give a lot more players an opportunity to do that. We didn't get an opportunity to do it, but hopefully, that we'll get some of those opportunities down the road where we can play some of those guys and get them some more playing time. And I don't think we're going to do anything differently this week, because the number one goal and objective is to, get our team better, make sure we're improving, but also do the things that we need to do to win this game. This is an important game. This is a better team than they were a year ago. They got a lot of starters back, and they played a lot better in the first two games. So, it's a challenge for us to go bring our A game to play so that we can, take care of business. And if we can do that, maybe some other people get a chance to get some experience as well.
A related question along those lines from a Nick Saban show blog at AL.com. Curtis in Anniston says he was excited to see some of the depth in the defense last week. He wants to know, will we see more of Rashaan Evans and Tim Williams in tandem?
Well, I don't know about in tandem. I mean, we want to play both guys. Both guys are capable of making plays. Both guys are very, very good pass rushers. When I said we have more guys that can rush off the edge, those two guys were two of the guys that I was talking about.
Yeah.
As well as Denzel and Xavier. Reggie can even rush off the edge, but we have to play him at inside linebacker right now because he's doing a pretty good job there. So we're hopeful that these guys will be able to play, because I do think they can affect the game in certain situations. I think both guys are not complete now as players in terms of being able to play against regular and playing outside backer and being able to, so they can play better in nickel when they have their hand in the dirt, and we certainly like to use them that way.
All right, let's go to the Academy Sports and Outdoors hotline to Trussville, where Steve's on the line. Roll Tide, Steve. How you doing?
All right, Roll Tide. I just want to know, does dedication, like some of your older players that stays, for a long time, do you have to just play the new players that you recruited to come in when games get out of hand? Do you understand what I'm saying, Coach? Like, Blake Sims, a first-year senior, and, you got the new ones coming on the game, trying to enhance, just play the new recruits.
Right. Well, we have a really good group of seniors on our team this year. I think we have much better leadership. Blake Sims is probably as well-liked as any guy on our team. I think that, his character and enthusiasm and how he puts the team first is, so evident in like Jay Coker throws a touchdown pass last week, and the first guy to give him a big bump is Blake.
Yep.
Happy, excited that the guy did well. And I think he's that way about our whole team. And I think we have a lot more guys, like Shepard's a fifth-year senior. You know, Brian Vogler's that kind of guy. There's just a lot of guys on our team that are so much more like team-oriented in terms of wanting to do well. And some of those circumstances may have been created by how we finished last season, and they want to prove something and create a new identity as a team. So, but the older guys on the team have been very, very good in buying into the things that have helped us be successful in the past, the principles and values of the organization, and putting the team first. We have a lot less selfishness on this team than what we've had in the past on some of our teams, and I think it shows in how they play. Now, that doesn't always equate into how we execute, but the effort, the toughness, the enthusiasm has really been good, and I think that's what's helped this team, you know, improve and get better, and we need to continue to do that.
With mic in hand, another fan here at Bob's Victory Grill wants to ask a question. Tell us who you are, where you're from.
Karen Shaw, I'm here from Tuscaloosa. In the last couple of weeks, you've talked about the motivational speech that y'all had about the beast, and everybody wants to be the beast until you have to do what the beast do.
Right.
What are some former players that you had who did do what the beast needed to do?
Oh, we had a lot. We had a lot. You don't win as many games as we won in the last 6 years when you don't have a whole bunch of players that are willing to do what they have to do. And I would say that most of our teams, you know, have really been that way. But, you know, Rolando McClain was that way. And I only say him because he was our first really true alpha dog leader who had a significant impact on sort of turning the whole program around. All right, because he did those things. He got so many other people to follow in his footsteps, and that created a new culture. You know, Julio Jones changed the whole culture of, you know, playing receiver at Alabama, you know, where we had, you know, undisciplined toughness issues. He changed all that because he was one of the hardest working, most physical, toughest, greatest competitors that you're ever going to have on your team. You know, Mark Ingram was that way. Mark Barron was that way. Javier Arenas was that way. I mean, I don't even like to start talking about it because every guy that I don't mention, I'm leaving somebody out because we have had a tremendous number of guys that have done all the things that they need to do to be successful and to make the team successful. We've had a whole lot more, like 95% worth, compared to maybe 5% that haven't been willing to do that. And they haven't had as much success. And the teams that they played on didn't have as much success. And, you know, so I feel bad that I mentioned anybody because there's so many guys I'm leaving out. Dante Hightower, I mean, you know, I mean, you're talking about a lot of, you know, Dre Kirkpatrick, D. Milner, you know, so we've had a whole bunch, not just the guys that have been high draft picks, but just a lot of really good players who did everything they could be to be the best that they could be and did everything they could do to make the team the best it could be.
Shannon?
So, Coach, not to name players on your current roster, but what percentage would you say are beast-like on this team?
Well, I think that kind of remains to be seen because, to me, you have to do this over time. You know, consistency is your ability to repeat, you know, the right kind of habits over and over and over, regardless of what the circumstances are. Some people get affected when they have success, so they lose their edge, which I think was the case a little bit with last year's team. So until you go through a whole body of work and you see how people respond when things go poorly, you see how they can stay consistent when things go well, and don't feel entitled and don't change who they are, and continue to aspire to be better and understand, you know, the keen competition that we have to play requires us to continue to improve and play at a high standard all the time. So I think that sort of body of work has to be proven over time.
All right, we're at the half hour. We need to take a break and remind folks here at Bob's Victory Grill, our next question will be the winner of tonight's gift card from University Mall. Beat the game day traffic. Take the Tide ride from University Mall to Bryant-Denny Stadium. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Do game day right with the latest innovations from LG. From the kitchen to the living room, LG has you covered. Come check out the latest in LG innovations at your local Best Buy or online at bestbuy.com/LG. It's all possible with LG. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield Sports.
The tide will be rolling soon, but if you haven't gotten your Bama Banking Visa check card, you're not really ready for kickoff. Bama Banking, exclusively from BBVA Compass, is the perfect way to show your pride in the Tide. Call 1-800-COMPASS or go online at bbvacompass.com/Bama. Bama builds champions. At BBVA Compass, you can be a champion too by sporting one of our limited edition Bama Banking check cards. Sign up for Bama Banking and show your pride every time you use your check card. Call 1-800-COMPASS or go online at bbvacompass.com/Bama. Looking for the ultimate tire for your performance luxury touring vehicle? Look no further than the new Ventus S1 Noble 2 from Hankook Tire. Packed with the latest design and compounding elements focused on maximizing efficient water evacuation, providing impressive wet handling and braking, increasing cornering grip, and improving winter condition traction. The Ventus S1 Noble 2 is the ideal balance of all-season and ultra-high performance. To see more of the Ventus S1 Noble 2, visit Tires Plus in Huntsville. Be one with it. Hankook Tires.
Hey, bartender, 2 Coors Lights.
You got it. I need 2 Coors Lights. Sure thing.
With a taste as cold as the Rockies, only Coors Light gives you refreshment every time.
2 ice-cold Coors Lights.
That's the coldest beer I've ever had.
Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. With great beer comes great responsibility.
Cold hard fact. When it comes to Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light, remember, 21 means 21. Coors Light reminds you, with great beer comes great responsibility.
Alabama Crimson Tide men's basketball. 94 feet both ways is built by intensity. The Crimson Tide spirit is built by teamwork. Coleman Coliseum's energy is built by you. Season tickets to join the Crimson Tide in Coleman Coliseum are available now.
Here's the throw, right side again. The screen caught by Cooper. Nice block on the right side. Amari down the sideline. He's going to go. Touchdown, 52 yards. What a pancake block by Christian Jones.
Christian Jones paving the way for a big touchdown for Amari Cooper. Now 25 catches on the season. Welcome back to the Nick Saban Show, presented by Alpha. We're live at Bob's Victory Grill here in Tuscaloosa. Our media guest for the week, Shannon Spake from ESPN. Understand you went to the Bryant Museum today. What did you think?
I did. It was amazing. Just walking through there and looking at all of the the jerseys and the uniforms from back in the day. And I was just telling you, Tom, that I think one of the coolest things for me personally, just being in the media, is looking at all of the archives of tapes that they have, whether it be, beta or mini DVCs or, reels. It was
film.
Just amazing. Yeah, it was amazing. I could have just walked through those halls and just looked at it all day.
Well, I think that it's interesting that you sort of recognize and realize that, and I think it's so great that the University of Alabama has a tribute to Coach Bryant, because I think, the significance of his accomplishments, winning 6-7 national championships, whatever it was, and the success that he had for so many years, not just here, but even at other schools. I mean, I don't know that there'll ever be a coach ever be able to do that ever again. And I think that I'm just happy that people of this generation have the opportunity to see and some of those things, and it's really presented well there, and I'm really proud of that place.
It is. It's beautiful. And Eli Gold was the one who suggested that I go over there and check it out. Oh, okay. So, Coach, my question for you now is, this is actually my first football game here in Tuscaloosa. Yeah. So it's going to be the first time that I'll be on the sidelines with you guys down there. I've done some basketball, but what was the moment that kind of stands out in your mind as one of the most unique, experience is for you being down there on the sidelines?
Well, without question, the most unique experience that I had here was the first spring game that we had here, the first A day. All right, when we'd just come from Miami, I'm thinking we're going to have a regular old A day, and there'll be like 40,000 people there, and none of them will be interested in what's happening. And we had over 90,000 people when I walked on the field. And I get cold chills thinking about it right now, but I knew right then that we were going to be able to accomplish something significant here with that kind of passion, that kind of enthusiasm, that kind of positive support for, the program and what we could accomplish. So it wasn't even a game. It was just the spring game. But it was the number one thing that I remember. It was like, this is a real deal.
That's pretty cool.
You told the story this summer of flying back in here on occasion during the summertime with Miss Terry and reliving some of that, some of the memories. And you had a great quote from Miss Terry. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Oh, you mean my joke?
Yes.
When we were flying in this summer, I looked out the window and I remembered some of the experiences that we had when we first landed here, which I think everybody remembers. And then I looked at Terry and I said, in your wildest dreams, did you ever believe when we first came here, the first time we landed here, that we'd ever be a part of 3 national championships? And she says, honey, you're not in my wildest dreams.
I think it's one of the great stories. All right. We've got another fan here at Bob's Victory Grill that wants to ask a question. Tell us who you are, where you're from.
Hey, Coach. I'm Macon Gravely from Perdido Key, Florida. It's great to have the best coach in America coaching the Crimson Tide.
I appreciate you saying that.
My question is how did getting Trey DePriest and Eddie Jackson back affect the defense?
Well, I think it was a real positive for us. Those guys have experience. They have confidence. Trey DePriest, especially at his position, is sort of the quarterback of the defense. We've always had a guy that has a lot of experience to be able to play, whether it was Rolando, Dante, CJ, and now Trey, that really can orchestrate things and give everybody else a sort of a comfort zone that when they make a call, it's the right call, and we all kind of play around it. And in the first game at West Virginia, we had an absence of that. We had 2 guys playing linebacker who never started a game before and never really had that much playing experience. And it was the first game, which is always more difficult to prepare for because you don't know exactly what you're going to get. And as soon as they did something different, which was about the first play of the game, it kind of blew their mind, and it affected everybody's poise, everybody's ability to, sort of play with confidence, and we made a lot of mental errors, and, we finally settled down and played a little bit better in the second half. But having Trey back and having Eddie back, gave us a lot of confidence and stability. Both guys are really good players, but I also think they affect the other players out there a lot because of their leadership and the way they compete. And I think everybody respects that quite a bit. So it was huge for us.
Isn't it amazing that Eddie's back out there, even beginning to play like he is after the ACL just 5 months ago?
Yeah, and he really played well. We had him on a pitch count. I think we were going to play him like 35 plays or something. I think that's about what he played. But and we got him out, but nobody really played, that many plays because it was shortened, and we didn't play that many plays on defense because we controlled the ball pretty well on offense. But I think he can improve every week. The thing you worry about most, the thing I worry about most, and this comes from my experience in the NFL, guys who miss camp and guys who can't work through camp and go through all the contact and all the fundamentals and all the hitting, my experience with those guys is, can they stay healthy throughout the year when they start playing? Because they didn't really prepare for the season exactly like other guys. And that's what we're hopeful that we can sort of get Eddie, work him into it so that he can sustain the season and sort of get a camp-like experience here in these first couple weeks back where he's full tilt. And then hopefully he'll have more stamina and durability to finish the season.
All right, Macon, you get this gift card from University Mall, so come on up and pick it up. Let's go on the Academy Sports and Outdoors hotline right here in Tuscaloosa where Joe's on the line. Roll Tide, Joe. How you doing?
They call me Super Joe. How's it been going, Coach Saban?
Hey, Joe, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Hey, it's something I was going to ask you. Now, I noticed in a lot of football, college football in particular, there seems like a problem between a coach and a quarterback. I'll use an example. Coach Bryant had Scramble, and then you got Gene Stahl and Jay Barker, and then you and A.J. McCarron. Is there always a strong chemistry between a coach and a quarterback?
I couldn't quite hear your question. Did you say, do I have a strong chemistry in coaching the quarterback?
I mean, well, like, is there, what's the real connection with coaches and quarterbacks in general?
Well, I think the most important thing, in developing any player at any position, and I think quarterback's a unique position because you distribute the ball every play, so it's especially important at quarterback, is that a player trusts in the coach that the things that you're coaching him to do are actually going to help him play better. I think anybody that you say is a good coach, that's exactly what a good coach does. Players listen and learn because they think that if they do the things the way you ask them to do it, that's going to really enhance their chances of being successful. You're going to prolong their career. You're going to make them better players. And I think that's what players expect from a coach. We've had, really good quarterback coaches here. Jim McElwain did a good job. Lane's doing a fantastic job, right now. I think Doug did a good job with AJ. So, we've had really good guys. I always try to have, as a head coach, I think you always have to have a good relationship with a quarterback, not necessarily in developing his technical skills to play the position, but to manage the psychological part of the game that's so important at that position because he affects so many things on your team. Things like leadership, things like what you do and what you say, how it affects other people on your team, how it's the most difficult position to play in football if the other people around you don't play well. So you can't be selfish at all playing this position because if the left tackle won't block for you, you're going to get sacked a lot. If the receivers won't run and play for you, you're not going to be able to be a very effective passer. If you don't have a good running game, it's going to affect how well you can throw the ball. So those types of things are what I sort of spend my time on with the quarterback so they have the right psychological disposition to play the position relative to how it affects the team.
All right, Coach Saban here. We got a few more questions for him after we take our final break of this half hour. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield Sports.
In 50 feet, turn left. Why are you driving so slowly?
After a few drinks, I'm taking it slow.
Well, you're not fooling the cop behind you.
What?
Get ready to pay in 0.1 miles.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Okay, forest animals, kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow, have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. River, how's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man.
I love it. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. Okay. Squirrel.
The forest has been preparing just for you. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans. When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer. Warm fleece on a cool day. I want to be a bike that races around the country. I want to be a bench on a forest trail. When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
I'm a volunteer at United Way. I'm asking people around the neighborhood what they think this place needs.
Wi-Fi everywhere.
More playgrounds.
Oh, more ice cream trucks.
I was thinking more money in the pockets of local families come tax time.
Can I change my answer?
I was just kidding about the ice cream.
When it comes to getting better tax refunds into the hands of local families, what this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org, because great things happen when we live united. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Two wides left, one to the right from the 40 of the Owls. Quick throw left side. Drake on the screen. Leaves everybody. Good night. See ya. Take it to the house. 39 yards. And a beautiful block that time by Chris Black, who helped take out two men, opening the near sideline for Kenyon Drake. And a touchdown.
Eli Gold with a call from the Tide's victory over Florida Atlantic. Welcome back to the Nick Saban Show, presented by Alpha Insurance. For the best agents in the business, call Alpha. Shannon Spake from ESPN, our media guest tonight, and I hesitate to bring up the subject, but where did you go to college?
I went to Florida Atlantic University.
I'm glad you weren't here last week for your sake.
I did. My mother graduated from there as well. As I said, I'm a Florida girl, so I was down there for 20 years. And yes, that's where I went to college.
To me,
I had a lot of friends that went to Alabama, though. A lot of friends that went to Alabama.
Well, it's Florida Atlantic is a program that is still building for darn sure. All right, the coach is back on stage. We have another fan here at Bob's Victory Girl. Tell us who you are and where you're from.
My name is Rita Heitch. I'm from Tuscaloosa. I see a lot of similarities in you and Bear Bryant and your leadership goals and the way you make men out of boys, and I appreciate that. And in honor of Bear Bryant's 101st birthday today, I was wondering, were you a Bear Bryant fan, and did you ever meet him? And did you ever have any, in your wildest dreams, did you ever think you'd follow in his footsteps?
Well, first of all, the last question, no. I never thought that I'd be the coach at Alabama. There was a long time in my career where I wondered if I would ever be a head coach. And there was a long time when I coached that I was just happy being a coach. I was happy being an assistant. Then I was really happy being a coordinator, and never really thought of it that way. But once you have the first opportunity to be a head coach and you don't get that job, then you start thinking about, well, maybe I can do this. But anyway, I never thought so. I never had the opportunity to meet Bear Bryant. I read his book when I was a kid, growing up, and thought it was one of the most fantastic books that I ever read. I used to always like Alabama, watch them play. Joe Namath was my idol. I loved watching Ozzie Newsome. I mean, I can tell you about all these. I'm a kid in West Virginia seeing all these guys play in the 60s. And, I loved it. And the tradition and, the winning program and the respect that you have for somebody who has been so successful as Coach Bryant was. But I never, in my wildest dreams, thought I would ever be here at Alabama. But it has been the best experience that we've ever had, in our coaching career.
All right, we have another question from the Nick Saban Show blog at AL.com. Greg in Priceville, interesting question. He says, I love the way our team plays with class and discipline. He says, it's a shame your dad's not here to see that. And he wants to know what you think your dad would have felt about speedball. I'm not sure he would have liked it, or would he have?
Well, I will say this, and I appreciate him mentioning my dad, who, really had a tremendous impact on me as a person and was my coach growing up in some ways, but was really probably the all-time mentor of all mentors in terms of effect, cause and effect in a lot of ways. As I move my butt here, thinking of some of those spankings, but the number one thing that makes me feel really, really good, and this comes from the people back in my hometown or where we grew up that knew my dad, and maybe one of the reasons that I want our team to be that way is I knew that's the way he was and he would want it to be. And when one of those old guys that knew him, that are his good friends that used to hang around at the service station and sit on the pop cases and shoot the breeze, every Friday and Saturday night, when they tell me when they see me or I talk to them and they say, your dad would really be proud of the way your team plays.
Yeah.
That's the best compliment I ever get. So for that guy to say that, I really do appreciate it.
All right, Shannon, one more question for the coach.
Yeah, along those lines of, mentioning your dad, and I'm sure that every parent out there battles the fine line between being, disciplining your child and encouraging them and watching them, kind of nurturing them. How do you balance that with your players, the discipline and the nurturing?
Well, I think that, there's nothing wrong with tough love. But I think you better have the love first. And I think the players better know that you care about them and that you care about them as people, not just as football players. And you really do care about them having a better chance to be successful, and the things that you're doing, are not sort of selfish things just to promote yourself or whatever, but it really is to help them, and it's about them. And I think the more you make it about them, the better they respond. And, that's kind of how I do it. And when guys don't do what they're supposed to do, I tell them a lot. Like I always told my kids growing up, if you do that one more time, this is what's going to happen.
Then they make the decision.
And they make the decision. I said, you made the decision. So then it was, oh, no, don't. I tell our players that a lot. I'm going to tell you exactly like I used to tell my kids. If you do that one more time, here's what's going to happen. They do it. Don't come around and say, how about give me a break or any of that? I already told you. You already had your chance. All right, so you knew it was wrong. You made a poor choice. You made a poor decision. In life, when you make poor choices and decisions, you have consequences. And everybody has to understand that those consequences can be good or they can be bad. And when you make poor choices and decisions, they usually turn out bad. So we don't want it to turn out bad for you. We want it to turn out good for you, so we're trying to give you direction and guidance here to get you to do things the way you need to do them so you have some good consequences.
Shannon Spake, I think I speak for the coach in saying we appreciate you being here.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be here with you guys.
All right, Coach.
Appreciate it.
You have the last word, presented by Mercedes-Benz.
Well, I really do think that I hope that we have a really good crowd at this game. I hope that, our crowd, the enthusiasm of our crowd really starts to get behind this team. I know it's a different team than we've had before. We got a different kind of quarterback. We have a lot of young players out there that are playing. But I think it really is important that everybody sort of get behind this team. And it's not about what we did in the past. And, I talked here tonight about how people, don't always do so well when they have lots of anxiety. Well, anxiety gets created by expectations. And when people just always have expectations that we're going to win this or we're going to win that or why don't we win this or we're going to win another national championship, that creates a lot of anxiety. What I asked everybody to do, and we decided to stay here, all right, was we're starting a new program here. Let's start a new program here. Let's start all over. All right, let's build a new program here with the same kind of enthusiasm, the same kind of discipline, the same kind of attention to detail, the same kind of togetherness and teamwork that we had before, where everybody supports each other, and it's very positive. All right, and because of that positive energy, we really, really can accomplish something special. So I actually look like at this team that we're starting all over. But everybody else has to look at it that way too, and I want to see this team be supported in a very positive way because this team has worked hard, all right, and has done the things that we've asked them to do. We may not have every position, the most talented guy and all that, but we can have a really good team, but we need everybody's support and enthusiasm, and I think it's going to be important in this game. All these teams now go no huddle. Make it difficult for them to communicate. I think that, that's a real key in this game. But I'm excited about our team. I'm excited about the character that we have on our team. And I don't know that we're good enough to win one more game. I just know that I like our team. You should like our team, and I hope that you really support our team because we can be very, very good if we keep developing like we need to, but we need your support.
Be there 5 o'clock Saturday afternoon. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
We'll be back, wrap things up in a moment. This is the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield Sports.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Hey, there's my son.
Hey, Dad.
What's wrong with your voice?
There is nothing wrong with my voice.
Well, it's just sort of.
Hello, Dad.
Susan? Guys, I think it's about time to get in the car and maybe see some green things.
What are these green things you speak of?
This weekend, unplug. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6 I make his breakfast. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6 I make his breakfast. At 7 I shower. Every day I wake up
For those caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Okay, so 5 tacos of cheese and a large soda. That's $10,012. Please drive around.
Wait, 10,000 what?
It's obvious you're buzzed and driving.
I've only had a few. I'm fine.
Yeah, the food's $12, but getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Please drive around. Actually, just park and come in.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Think it's only a game? You win some, lose some. Just give the old college try. Not around here. Because in Tuscaloosa, winning on the field and the work site isn't everything. It's the only thing. Alabama and the 2014 Ford F-150. This team, this truck will make a believer out of you. For great offers on a new F-150, go to shopfordnow.com or see your local Ford dealer today.
Be the hero of your tailgate this season. Go to eatatjacks.com to place your order for the ultimate fan fuel. Get your team ready for the big game with Jack's delicious hand-breaded chicken fingers, fried chicken, sides, biscuits, and more. Jack's now a proud partner of the Crimson Tide. Now let's talk about Sport Clips. You're a guy, and when you need a haircut, you need it right now. So come on in, because at Sport Clips, you never need an appointment. Visit any of our Alabama stores and ask for the MVP service. Sport Clips, it's good to be a guy. Well, that does it for this edition of Hey Coach and the Nick Saban Show, presented by Alpha Insurance. And in closing tonight, our thoughts and prayers go out to the Mississippi State family on the loss of Jack Crystal. Jack was the voice of the Bulldogs from 1953 to 2011. He called 636 football games and 54 seasons of state basketball. He died on Sunday at the age of 88 of complications from kidney disease and cancer after an extended illness. Our prayers to Jack's family, his daughters and his grandchildren, as well as Bulldog fans all over the world. And we also send our prayers out tonight to the family of Stan Sandroni. He was the longtime sideline reporter for the Ole Miss radio network. He passed away yesterday, the loss of two characters from the state of Mississippi. Well, that does it for our show tonight. Our thanks to Jerry and Jan back at the studio, to Neil and all the folks here at Bob's Victory Grill, to Tom Stipe, our engineer-producer for the evening. We invite you to join us Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock, and make it 2 o'clock for the Alabama Southern Mississippi broadcast. And until then, roll Tide, everybody.
Live from Bob's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa, this has been Hey Coach, presented by Alpha. For the best agents in the business, call Alpha. Also brought to you by Coke Zero. Real Coke taste, 0 calories. Bud Light, the perfect beer when you're up for whatever. Your Alabama Ford dealers. Alabama Saturdays, built Ford tough. And by Golden Flake, the official chip of the Crimson